Let's quickly read this question. The question is based upon the concept of AP, progression, and there's only one concept. So it's a freebie, right? You're definitely going to get the marks for this question fully if you just solve it very carefully. You have to be accurate, you have to be quick, as I always say. All right? Okay. So if there is only one concept is involved, the chances are very high the question will be really simple, right? So you have to make sure that these marks are definitely into your pocket. Let's begin with it. 5 numbers are in AP. So whenever we take the assumption for 5 numbers, we do it as a minus 2d, a minus d, a plus d, a plus 2d. See, when I'm as a student, right, if I would have been a student, I would have, this is the first thought which have come to my mind, that if they have to choose 5 numbers in AP, I will be surely doing that, right? Because this makes my calculation much easier. All right, so just keep that in mind, what exactly the statements or the hints that you are getting it, right? So I'm sure everyone must have studied it. It's just that this thing or these kind of linkages you have to establish so that this thing should strike to you in the examination hall. Okay, so this I have ensured this. Now please remember, in this AP, this term is actually the first term. A is not the first term, right? This is the only thing that you have to be careful about, and D is the common difference. All right. Okay, now it says that whose sum is 25. Now, see, this is going to get me the advantage. Product will also give me the advantage because I have the format of a minus 2d, a plus 2d, a minus d, a plus d. Are you getting the point why I have stressing upon this? So sum is given, product is given. So I have two equations and I have two unknowns here. From there, I have to figure out the value of a and d. And then I'll be have to look for the greatest number amongst all of them. So whatever the values of d I'm getting, whatever the value of a I'm getting, based upon whatever the possible progressions are there, among them, what is the greatest number that I'll be getting it? And that's what I have to figure out from these options as 16, 27, 7, 21 by 2. Sorted? Okay. One more information they have given, that if one of these 5 numbers is minus 1 by 2. So I have to keep that in mind, that if one of the numbers, one of these 5 numbers is minus half, then what should be the possible values? What could be the possible values? Right? Okay. Without any further delay, let's get started. I want every one of you to start solving it, right? If you get stuck, refer the screen. There is nothing wrong in that. Or even if you want to refer the screen for solution, I'm fine with it. But I'm sure, and I hope everyone must have given it a good try. Okay? Or if you have got the hint, if you got the idea, you want to try, please give it a good try. Try to be faster than me. I'll be happy to hear about it. Okay? Wow, let's quickly begin with. So if I want to have the 5 numbers in AP, I want to just choose them as a minus 2d, a minus d, a plus d, a plus 2d. Perfect. Now, I know that their sum is 25. If the sum is 25, I will be actually utilizing that fact. So their sum is nothing but a minus 2d plus a minus d plus a plus d plus a plus 2d equal to 25. What does that mean? See, clearly this 2d got cancelled, d and d got cancelled. I clearly have the situation as 5a equal to 25. So if I have 5a equal to 25, what I can say? I can say that my a value turns out to be 5. So the middle number, not the first one, middle number turns out to be 5. Okay, perfect. So I have a equal to 5 here. Sorted. Now they're saying that the product is equal to 2520, right? That's what we know. So let's try to create the product here. So the product is nothing but a minus 2d, a minus d, a plus d, a plus 2d equal to 2520. The value of a that we have already figured out as 5, right? So a is already figured out as 5. Let's plug in the value and let's see how the product is behaving. So I get this as 5 minus 2d. We get this as 5 minus d into 5 plus d into 5 plus 2d equal to 2520. Okay. I know that this 5 will easily divide that equation. So this will look to me, and I'll club p plus q, p minus q type of expressions on like results, right? So 5 minus 2d into 5 plus 2d will give me 25 minus 4d square. Perfect. Then 5 plus d into 5 minus d will give me what? 25 minus d square. And the other thing will give me 2520 by 5, which is nothing but 504. Wow, this is a sorted equation. Let's simplify a bit more. So when I multiply it, we get this as 625 plus 4d power 4 minus of 100d square minus 25d square is equal to 504. All right, let's bring everything on one side and rearrange it. So it will look to me as 4d raised to 4 minus 125d square plus 121 equal to 0. All right, I'll just rewrite it so that this should not disturb your vision. So 625 plus 4d raised to 4 minus 100d square, rest is fine, right? People are able to. So when you take that 625 minus 504, that will make it as 121. Okay, now let's quickly factorize it. So what do I have it here? We have it has this 121 into 4, that makes 125, simplest one. So 4d raised to 4 minus of 4d square minus of 121d square plus 121 equal to 0. All right, let's simplify it further. So what do I got it here? From the first two bracket, I got this 4d square common. Inside the bracket, I'm left with d square minus 1. And here I take 121 minus 121 outside it. We get d square minus 1 equal to 0. Now, if you see the product here, what do I have it here? I can easily say that from here, d square minus 1 into 4d square minus 121 is equal to 0. Okay, sorted. So from here, I can say that either d square equal to 1 or d square equal to 121 by 4. So when I have d square equal to 1, d will become equal to what? Plus minus 1, or d will become equal to plus minus 11 by 2. Right? So this will be the possibility that d will become either plus minus 1 or it will become plus minus 11 by 2. Perfect? Okay. Now, so we got value of a as 5. We got the value of d as plus minus 1 plus minus 11 by 2, right? And a is 5. Now, if I have the value of a and if I value have d, so I have 4 possible d's. And then I have to ensure that which one is actually going to fulfill my question or my desired answer. Do you remember another statement which was given that if one of these 5 terms is minus half? So let's quickly see how does it behave. And I'll see just a rough possibility. If I have to reach, let's say if I choose d as 1. So ahead of 5, I'll have 6 and 7, and before 5, I'll have 3 and 4. Is it going to make me reach to minus 1 by 2 as one of the terms? Not at all. So d equal to minus 1, is it going to get me to minus half? Not at all. So both these d equal to 1 and d equal to minus 1 are gone, right? We are not going to choose them. No, omitted. Now we can have the possibility for d equal to plus 11 by 2 or minus 11 by 2. It doesn't matter. Choose either of them. See, if I'll have d as plus 11 by 2, the terms will be increasing. So ahead of 5, I'll have a larger term, then I'll have a larger term. And if I have d equal to minus 11 by 2, then a minus 2d will be the largest term. So both of them are okay with me. So what I do from my calculation purpose, I will be choosing d equal to 11 by 2. And when I'm choosing d equal to 11 by 2, I'm assured that a plus 2d will become the largest term. Right. Okay, let's begin with it. So when I take d equal to 11 by 2, one thing is pretty sure that a plus 2d is going to be the greatest term. Perfect. And if I want to calculate that a plus 2d, what will I have? So I'll have a as 5. So this a plus 2d will become nothing as a as 5. So a plus 2d will become equal to, sorry, I'll quickly write it. So a plus 2d will become equal to 5 plus 2 into 11 by 2. So 2 get cancelled. What do I have it here? A plus 2d will become 5 plus 11. And what is 5 plus 11? 16. So what is my greatest term? Guys, it's very simple, 16. You get to that point what I'm suggesting here. There's only one key takeaway is that if your consecutive 5 numbers are to be chosen in AP such that their sum of product is given, please assume them to be as a minus 2d, a minus d, a plus d, a plus 2d. First thing. Second one, in this question it was given that minus half has to be one of the terms. That can only happen when the d is either plus 11 by 2 or minus 11 by 2. D equal to plus minus 1 is not going to get me one of the terms as minus 1 by 2. Right? Okay. So because of that only, we take the greatest term. So I have chosen d as plus 11 by 2. I want to have an increasing progression. And for that matter, a plus 2d becomes the largest value. When I plug in the value of a and d, I got the resultant as 5 plus 11 or 16. Perfect. Hence, the option A will be the correct answer. Alright. Understood the key takeaways? 5 consecutive numbers in AP as well as which d is to be chosen and which d is to be rejected, as minus half is one of the terms, right? So d equal to plus 11 by 2 is something which I am supposed to choose. Alright. Now this is a very decent question. The question which contains the concept of 3D, but of course there are 2-3 more things involved into it. So within 3D they are asking for multiple things. Okay, so let's quickly read the question. You have to be very quick in these questions, right? They are very simple. Your pen should move very faster with all the accuracy. Let P be the plane, so P is the name of the plane, passing through the point 2, 1, 0. second point as 4, 1, 1, and 5, 0, 1. So there are 3 points which are given to me, and there is a plane which is passing through it. So that's okay. A plane might have infinite points. Perfect. Then R is any other point, and I want to have the R of image of this R in the plane P. Okay, so what is the situation? This is, let's say, a plane is 1 point is here, 1 point is here, 1 point is here, right? So using these 3 points, let's say A, B, C are lying on this plane. So I'm talking about this plane. It's an infinite plane, right? I cannot draw infinite plane, so I made a simple possible plane. Now there is random point, some R, and I want the image of this R with respect to this plane. So basically, if the image will be somewhat like this, so I want this coordinates of this I with respect to this plane P. Are you getting that point? Understood the question? Okay. So my aim would be to first of all find out the plane equation, which is containing all the 3 points. Got that? Second one, once you got the equation of the plane, you have to apply the formula for image of the point with respect to a certain plane. Right? Let's quickly begin with it. All right. So let's start with the information. These are the 3 points, let's say ABC, through which this plane is passing, right? So I'll say that if this is the case, then I can have the AB vector. So AB vector is nothing but what? This is simply x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1, right? So AB vector will have the component as this, or you can also write this as 2i plus 0j cap plus k cap. Right. Similarly, when I want to have vector AC, that is position vector of C minus position vector of A, that is x3 minus x1, y3 minus y1, z3 minus z1. So 5 minus 2 will give me 3, 0 minus 1 will give me minus 1, and 1 minus 0 will give you 1, right? So which in the form of vector format, I can also write this as 3i minus j plus k. Is this okay for everyone, right? People understood what I have done. Simply I have created the vector AB and vector AC by using the coordinates of the point, right? I'm intentionally keeping in the vector format. It's simpler to observe it. All right. So if I have this, I need to have the normal vector. So what do I have the normal vector? So my normal vector is nothing but, see, I have a plane. For this plane, I'll have a unique normal. So this normal vector will be nothing but along the vector AB cross AC. I have vector AB, I have vector AC. See, both the vectors, see, this is the plane. This is vector AB, this is vector AC. So if I have vector AB, vector AC, so the cross product will become somewhat like this. And this is clearly nothing but perpendicular to the plane. And this is nothing but the normal, as simple as it sounds. So I have to take the cross product of AB and AC. Let's quickly do that. You know how to take the cross product. Just simply take up the determinant. So I have this AB cross AC, or vector N will be along this, right? It will be along this. So let's say I am assuming vector n to be as AB cross AC. Doesn't matter because this will be also one of the vectors lying in that direction. So a vector in the direction of normal will be obtained by the cross product of AB cross AC. So I'll write the component as 2, 0, 1 and this one as 3, minus 1 and 1. Okay, perfect. Let's quickly solve this determinant. So my vector n here will look to me as I cap times 0 into 1 and minus of minus 1 will give me plus 1. Okay. Then minus of j cap times, I'll be getting this as, I have written this as, okay, I'll do that calculation once again. So vector n will become is equal to I cap times, so I'll get this as 0 into 1 and minus 1 will give me plus 1. Okay, then minus of j cap times, we get this 2 minus 3, that is minus 1. And then the last one will become k cap times, we get this as minus 2 minus 0, so this becomes minus 2. Okay, so the vector becomes nothing but is equal to I cap plus j cap minus 2k cap. And if the vector is I cap plus j cap plus minus 2k cap, I can write the vector n components as 1, 1, minus 2. I hope this is sorted for everyone. There is no difficulty. Simple cross product, right? You guys must have done a lot of times. Okay, so when you have this normal vector, what does the idea says? The idea says that the answer for this particular vector, or rather a plane whose normal vector is this, right? So if you take the vector form, this is vector r dot n equal to d. D is a simple constant, right? So vector r is what? Xi plus yj plus zk. Vector n is what? The one written over here, I plus j minus 2k and equal to d. So I got my vector as, rather the equation as x plus y minus 2z equal to d. But d is unknown. I know that all the 3 points are lying on that plane, so I can satisfy the point 2, 1, 0, the point A onto it. The moment when I satisfy 2, 1, 0 onto it, what do I got? I got 2 plus 1 minus 0 equal to D, which implies that D equal to what? 3. So if D is 3, I can say that the plane equation will become x plus y minus 2z equal to 3. I hope this calculation is sorted for everyone. That is the reason why I was saying you have to be quick. See, you first have to get the cross product, then you have to get me the equation of the plane, and then we'll again applying with the formula for image, right? So you have to be very quick. And of course, you need a lot of practice. You need to remember a lot of formulas because you need to generate the speed in the examination hall. If you're not able to recall anything, if you are trying to generate anything at that moment of time, you are wasting your time, right? And examination, JEE main examination is this is always a major game of timing also, right? So speed matters a lot along with the accuracy. So we got the equation of the plane as x plus y minus 2z equal to 3. Okay, this one is sorted. Now, I have to get the image of that point R with respect to this plane. Okay, so I want to get the image of this point 2, 1, 6. Let's say the image is L, increment. So this is what my situation is. Right, so the point is 2, 1, 6. And the image is, let's say, over here. I call it I. This is our R. So this is L, M, N. And the equation of the plane is already mentioned here. X plus y minus 2z equal to 3. So according to the formula, okay, what's the formula by the way? The formula is, let's say if I take the image as xi, yi, zi, and the point with respect to which the image is to be found is x0, y0, z0. So let me put it up that one so that you can understand or recall the formula very quickly. And see, we are expecting that you remember this formula in the examination hall, right? It is highly essential. So xi, yi, zi are the coordinates of the image, and x0, y0, z0 are the coordinates of the point whose image is to be found. And let's say the equation of the plane is ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0. Right, a very simple one. Standard equation that we know. So the formula becomes is equal to xi minus x0 by coefficient of x in the equation of the plane, yi minus y0 by b, that is coefficient of y in the equation of the plane, zi minus z0 by coefficient of z is equal to minus 2 times of ax0 plus by0. Sorry, I'm overlapping the plane. I'll write it a bit down here, guys. Okay. So this becomes minus 2 times of ax0 plus by0 plus cz0 plus d whole divided by a square plus b square plus c square. Understood? Now, guys, please quickly plug in the value of xi, yi, zi as, in our question, it is what? L, M, N. x0, y0, z0 is what? 2, 1, 6. And A, B, C, D are. So A is 1, right? If you compare it with the plane equation, I'll say that A becomes 1, B becomes 1, C becomes minus 2, and D becomes minus 3. Please plug in the value quickly in the formula. You'll reach here, right? So we got L minus x1, that is 2, divided by coefficient of x, which is 1, is equal to m minus y coordinate, which is 1, divided by coefficient of y in the equation of the plane, that is also 1. And again, n minus z coordinate of the point, that is 6. So n minus 6 divided by coefficient of z, which is minus 2, is equal to minus 2 times of ax0 plus by0 plus cz0 plus d upon a square plus b square plus c square. Okay, if you want to just see the calculation for this step, I can show you. It will become minus 2 times of, so a into x0 will give me 2, right? And then the b into y0 will give me 1, and c into z0 will give me actually minus 12, and then this minus 3. So what have I got it here? 2 plus 1 is 3, minus 3, we get minus 2 into 12, that is nothing but minus 2 into minus 12, divide by coefficient of x square plus y square plus z square, that is 1 square plus 1 square plus 2 square. So 1 plus 1 plus 4, that is 6. That's why you got this as minus 2 into minus 12 by 6. Okay? I hope this is sorted. So I'm removing this calculation. It's a simple thing. The moment you write it, you will get the answer. Okay, so this is simple. This entire quantity, 24 by 6 is nothing but 4. So I'm immediately reaching here. Now let's take up the individual ratios. So the moment when I equate L minus 2 by 1 equal to 4, what do I got? I got L minus 2 equal to 4, which implies that L equal to 6. Perfect. Second one, M minus 1 by 1 equal to 4, which implies that M is equal to 1 plus 4, which is 5. Pretty simple. Then again, If I go for the last one, so we'll have n minus 6 minus 2, sorry, n minus 6 by divided by minus 2 is equal to 4. That gives me n minus 6 is equal to minus 8, which implies that n is equal to minus 2. So I have L as 6, M as 5, N as minus 2. So my L, M, N becomes this. And what is LMN? Image. What was the question was asking? Image only. All right. So the answer becomes the image of the point is 6, 5, minus 2. All right. Everyone understood this? Now, so what is my key takeaway? See, the answer is pretty simple. You got this B option as a correct answer. That's a different thing. So first of all, I have to get the normal because I got all the 3 points on a plane, right? So equation of the plane passing through all the 3 points. That is one thing. Second thing, once I've obtained the equation of the plane, then I have to find the image of the point. So I have to remember the image formula also. Okay, now I'm giving you one quick observation as well. Let's say a plane contain the 3 points, 3 non-collinear points, x1, y1, z1, x2, y2, z2, x3, y3, z3. Right, let's say this is what my plane is. And this planes contain, let's say, 3 points A as x1, y1, z1. It's a bonus result that I'm giving you so that your practice will be more. As you are referring to this video, it means that you are preparing and your examination is very nearby. So x3, y3, z3. Right, or if you have practiced it, this is something that you have to remember. So if you, this is an additional value, it will be a value addition for your knowledge. If you know it beforehand, that's good. So the equation of the plane which passes through all the 3 points A, B, C here, right, turn out to be, I'll quickly write, x minus x1, y minus y1, z minus z1, x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1, x3 minus x1, y3 minus y1, z3 minus z1 equal to 0. So either you use directly this formula, you'll reaching to the answer instantly for the equation of the plane, for which we have done, first of all, we taken the normal, then we satisfied a point into that equation, and then we got the constant d, and then we solved it further. Instead of that, you just plug in the values into this formula, right? x1, y1, z1, x2, y2, z2, x3, y3, z3. This will immediately make you to reach to that same equation of the plane, x plus y minus 2z equal to 3, which we have obtained by the other method. So both the method you should be comfortable. This is a direct formula. Refer to the Byju's videos. You will be easily able to see this formula there if you are really interested in the proof of it. Okay. So as of now, I'm just giving you this as bonus result, which you can utilize to increase the speed in the examination hall. All right. Okay. Now this question, an unbiased coin is tossed 5 times. Suppose that a variable x is assigned to the value, so variable x is assigned the value k when k consecutive heads are obtained for k equal to 3, 4, 5. That is, if 3 consecutive heads are there, we'll put the value as 3. If I have 4 consecutive heads, I'll put it 4. I have 5 consecutive heads, I'll put it as 5. Okay. Otherwise, that is if I have no head, 1 head or 2 head, then they take the value as -1. In all the other cases, it is -1. Okay, otherwise it is a value 3 if 3 heads, 4 if 4 heads, and 5 if 5 heads. This is what you have to be very clear. Then they're asking the expected value, right? Expected value of the mean value if you put it up in that way. So expected value of the mean value is nothing but sigma pi xi divided by sigma pi. Now sigma pi is always what? 1, because the total probability in this probability distribution is always 1. So since I know that for a probability distribution sigma pi is 1, this mean or the expected value, which I call it as Ex also, right? Expected Ex is a variable involved for which I'm trying to find the expected value. So Ex becomes is equal to, or mu as well, which is also the mean value, becomes is equal to sigma pi into xi, where pi is the probability associated with the variable xi, right? Where xi is the value associated with the probability pi, if you put it in that way. All right, so the formula for the expected value, that is Ex or simply mu, is nothing but sigma pi xi divided by sigma pi, but sigma pi is always 1 for any probability distribution, right? See, if I'm tossing a coin, so whatever the sample space, the probability for sample space is always what? 1, right? Okay, there is no loss of any observation or something. So sigma pi is always 1. So expected value becomes sigma pi xi. Keep that in your mind. Okay. Or xi is the value associated with that probability pi. Okay. Or in other words, pi is the value probability associated with the value xi. Understood? Sorted. So let's quickly start making the table. First of all, what are the observations that we have? So this is what my situation, that k is the number of consecutive heads. So we can have k equal to 3, 4 or 5. Okay. So k equal to 3 possibility, please look at it carefully. We can have this as h, h, h. See, 3 heads has to be consecutive, right? So the possibility could be only these 5. Why the sample space is 32? See, 5 coins are tossed. Sorry, 5 coins are tossed. So if it's an unbiased coin, then the probability for getting head or probability for getting a tail, they are both equal to what? Half. Pretty obvious. Okay. Now the sample space will be what? Since 5 coins are tossed, the sample space will be 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. Every coin, every time I'm making a toss, that will give me either heads or tails, heads or tails, heads or tails. Similarly, 5 times. So 2 into 2 into 2, 5 times. That is 2 raised to 5 or simply nothing but 32. So my sample space becomes 32. Simple, understood? So NS or sample space, the total number of observations are 32. The favorable ones are for k equal to 3, that is 3 consecutive heads are these 5. So sample space is 5, favorable ones are 5, sample space is 32, favorable cases are 5, probability becomes 5 by 32. Understood? Okay. 4 heads, total sample space remains the same. So the number of elements in the sample space are still what? 32. Favorable ones are simply 2. 4 consecutive heads. Either we could have 4 consecutive heads and then tails, or we can have tails in the initial position and then 4 consecutive heads. Only 2 possibilities. So favorable, what is the probability for getting 4 consecutive heads? Simply 2 are the favorable ways, divide by 32 as a total number of ways, 2 by 32. Perfect. 5 heads, there is only one way, you get all the heads. So the probability is 1 by 32. Sorted for everyone? Okay, lovely. Now, if I want to judge the probability for other cases, because I know that the value associated with all the other ones are -1. You remember that one, right? See, for these observation, the value associated is 3 because there are 3 consecutive heads. With them, the value associated is 4 because we have 4 observation, and here we have 5. So the value associated with them is what? Simply 5. So here it is 5, here it is 4, here it is 3. In all the other cases, it has to be what? -1. That's what is given into the question. So I have to ensure the probability for other 3 cases when 0 head, 1 head or 2 head. I'll consider all of them in one single go. How? Consider this case. If I take up k equal to 3, k equal to 4, do they have anything in common? No, because in k equal to 3 we have exactly 3 heads, consecutive heads, and in 4 we have exactly 4 consecutive heads. So is there anything common in this k equal to 3, k equal to 4, k equal to 5? No. K equal to 0, k equal to 1? No. Right? So what is what exactly the possibility is? That all the events are mutually exclusive. Their intersection is null. Are you getting my point? So if I want to have neither 3 nor 4 nor 5, so I don't want to have k, so basically k equal to 0, 1 or 2, right? You call it this, or you call it that probability of k not coming 3, 4, 5. Both of them are same, right? So k not equal to 3, not equal to 4, not equal to 5, or k equal to 0, 1 or 2. Right? Both of them are same thing only. So basically I'm looking for probability for 3 complement, intersection 4 complement, intersection 5 complement. That is 3 consecutive heads are not there, 4 consecutive heads are not there, and 5 consecutive heads are not there. This is what I want. That will become equal to what? Total probability, which is 1 minus the probability of what? Minus the probability of 3 minus probability of 4 minus probability of 5. Why? Because there is no intersection, so any other possibility won't arrive. Are you getting my point? See, there is no common case for k equal to 3, k equal to 4 and k equal to 5. So they don't have anything in common. All the events are mutually exclusive. If all of them are mutually exclusive, what will I say? I'll say that I just have to remove that 1 minus p3 minus probability of getting 4 consecutive heads minus probability of getting 5 consecutive heads. Simply from the total probability, which is 1. Okay, so calculation perspective, probability of 3 complement intersection 4 complement intersection 5 complement will become nothing but equal to 1 minus the probability of getting 3 consecutive heads, that is 5 by 32, 4 consecutive heads, that is 2 by 32, and 5 consecutive heads, that is 1 by 32. Is it sorted for everyone? I'll quickly give you a recall for this. So k equal to 3, k equal to 4, k equal to 5. I hope this is clear because the cases are even mentioned. So for k equal to 3, we have 3 consecutive heads. So we have only 5 favorable cases for that to happen when we are tossing a coin 5 times. Sample space is 32. So we get the probability for that as 5 by 32. Value associated is 3, right? Because if I have 3 consecutive heads, the value associated is 3. Probability is 5 by 32. For P, probability of K equal to 4, so we have only 2 favorable cases. Either we have 4 consecutive heads, then tails, or we have first as tails and then 4 consecutive heads. Only 2 favorable ways. Total number of ways, 32. So the probability for getting 4 consecutive heads is 2 by 32. Sorted. Then 5 consecutive heads, there's only one way. Probability 1 by 32. So with 5 consecutive heads, the probability associated, so the value associated is what? 5, right? Because they said that K is the value associated with the probability if K equal to 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, perfect. Now, I want to know the probability for the other 3 cases also. That is when I have 0 heads, 1 head or 2 heads. Okay. That is equivalent to say, I want to have the probability when K is not equal to 3 or 4 or 5. Right? Which I can also call it up as probability of not happening 3 consecutive heads and not happening 4 consecutive heads and not happening 5 consecutive heads. What I'm left with? 0 consecutive head, 1 consecutive head, 2 consecutive head. That's what I want. The interesting fact is that all these number of consecutive heads, exactly number of consecutive heads, all these events are what? Exclusive, right? If one event is happening, the other won't happen. So if I have 3 consecutive heads, of course I will not have 2 consecutive heads or 4 consecutive heads or 5 consecutive heads. So they have nothing in common, right? So if I want to get the probability of 3 complement intersection, 4 complement intersection, 5 complement, what that would be? That will be nothing but total probability, which is always 1 minus the probability of getting 5 consecutive head, probability of getting plus probability 1 minus of the bracket, and we get probability of 1 minus probability of getting 3 heads, minus probability of getting 4 heads, minus probability of 5 heads, because they don't have anything in common, so I don't have to worry about anything else. Perfect. And from there we get this calculation. So if you do this, this is nothing but 1 minus 5 to 7 and 8. So 1 minus 8 by 32, which makes it 24 by 32. Sorted? I'm not simplifying it. For a certain reason you'll understand, because we need to do that calculation of sigma pi xi. Okay. Is this sorted? Wow. So we got this probability of neither 3 nor 4 nor 5 consecutive hits for all the other cases for which the value associated was -1. Okay. Now let's start with this. So the probability, as I said, was nothing but 24 by 32, which we have already calculated. Let me draw the table quickly. So here is the value associated with that xi, and then I'll be writing the pi with it. Okay. So I'll be making the first case where I have 0, 1 and 2. Right. So either we have 0 heads, 1 head or 2 head. Right. So for the value associated was -1, probability turned out to be 24 by 32, which we just calculated. Then if I want to have exactly 3 heads, 3h, then the value associated is what? 3, and the probability was 5 by 32. Then if I want to have 4 consecutive heads, then the probability associated was 2 by 32, and the value associated is what? 4. If 4 heads, then 4. If 5 heads, then the value will become 5 and the probability becomes 1 by 32. So I have xi and pi for all the 4 cases. What do I need? I just need that sigma pi xi. So if I want to have the expectation value for the variable capital X, that will be nothing but sigma pi xi. That is, we'll have this p1 x1 plus p2 x2 plus p3 x3 plus p4 x4 in this case. Are you getting my point? Let's quickly start putting the value into the formula. So the expectation value for x sigma x px expectation value becomes equal to pi for the first one is what? 24 by 32, right? And the value associated is what? -1. Then probability for the second one is what? The value associated is 3, probability is 5 by 32. For 4 consecutive heads, value is 4, probability is 2 by 32. And for 5 consecutive head, value associated is 5, and the probability is 1 by 32. Let's quickly simplify and do the calculation. So we have this as 15 and plus 8, 23 plus 5, 28. So we basically get this as 28 minus 24 divided by 32, which is nothing but 4 by 32, which is simply 1 by 8. I would say that the expectation value turns out to be 1 by 8. Understood this, Harry? So the crucial result is this distribution. This is called, this table that you see here, this table itself is called the probability distribution. So this is the probability distribution for the variable capital X. The one which I have defined as capital X equal to number of heads. So I have 3 number of heads, I have 4 number of heads, I have 5 number of heads, or I have all the other 3 cases, right? So for all the other three cases, the value was -1. For 3, 4, and 5, the value associated was 3, 4, and 5 respectively. The probability that we have explained very well. So I hope you remember the formula. Expectation value for the random variable x is sigma pi xi. That is, I have 4 cases. So I'll have P1x1 plus P2x2 plus P3x3 plus P4x4. P1 is the probability associated with the variable with the value x1, right? So I've plugged in the value, simplify, we got the answer is 1/8, which becomes nothing but as the A option. So probability distribution, it's a very simple chapter. So if you haven't actually given a lot of emphasis on that, I would suggest you take some time, right? It will take just one day, rigorously 3-4 hours for you to practice it very well. Just invest 3-4 hours in a day, and then again the next day a quick practice of it, once again a quick revision. This will be enough for you to master this chapter of probability distribution, simply probability distribution only. All right, it's a very simple concept to understand. It will surely fetch you a correct question, which is not a bad idea, right? Okay, so expectation value formula for the random variable x is nothing but sigma pi xi. So of course in denominator there was sigma pi, but for any such probability distribution, sigma pi is always 1. So we directly define this formula only. Sorted? So we got another question of vectors now. The question reads as a vector A equal to alpha I cap plus 2j cap plus beta k cap, alpha beta any real number, lies in the plane of the vectors vector b I cap plus j cap and vector c I cap minus j cap plus 4k cap. Okay, so it's lying in the plane of vector b and vector c. So in general, you can assume, see, if there is only one statement that you read till here, you can say that that general vector will be nothing but lambda b plus mu c, because it is in the plane of vector b and vector c. Okay, but then it says that if vector a bisects the angle between b and c. Now, angle bisector has a different concept. What the concept is? Let's say if I have a vector b like this, and if I have a vector c like this, they say that, see, if I complete a parallelogram, for any parallelogram, somewhat like this, the diagonal is not the angle bisector. Angle bisector will be somewhere here, right? So this means for parallelogram, diagonal is not the angle bisector. But I know that for any rhombus, diagonal is the angle bisector. We take the advantage of that, because if I want to have the angle bisector, I want to create a rhombus. Rhombus means that I have to have all the sides equal. But the problem here is, here I have vector b and vector c. Their magnitudes are different, so I can't have. For that purpose, what we do, we take up 1 unit here. So 1 unit of vector b, that is b cap. Exactly. And 1 unit of vector c, that is c cap. And then we complete this rhombus. And in this rhombus, this diagonal will be bisecting it, and it will be along vector b cap plus vector c cap, along the direction of vector b cap plus c cap, right? Magnitude might be something else that I'm not aware of, but the direction will be always vector b cap plus c cap along the angle bisector of vector b and vector c. Did you get the idea? Sure. Let's quickly move on. So now my question says that if this is happening, then they have 4 options, that vector a dot I plus 3 equal to 0, vector a dot k plus 4 equal to 0. Okay, so I need to keep all the options in my mind, because I have to check all of them. There is no other way out. You just have to quickly plug in the value of vector a in all the 4 options, then you have to check it. Okay, no way out, please. That's how it is. So let's begin with the solution. 4 options, I've intentionally kept it here so that you can have it at the moment of time. Whenever it is required, you can refer them. Guys, let's quickly begin with, so angle bisector of the vector b and vector c, that is given by as what? The direction is b cap plus c cap. Magnitude could be anything. So let's say the magnitude is lambda. So I'll put it as something like vector a is equal to lambda times of b cap plus c cap. Sure, you understood that? We were created that rhombus of one unit b cap on one side and c cap on one side, so that the diagonal of the rhombus becomes the angle bisector. So that direction becomes b cap plus c cap, and lambda becomes its magnitude associated to it, let's say. Okay, so direction is b cap plus c cap. Magnitude could be anything, so I have put it up random lambda. Understood it? Okay, so what was my vector a can be assumed as? So I can say that vector a will be nothing but lambda times of I cap plus j cap by root 2 b cap, right? So vector b was what? Vector b was I cap plus j cap. So it will be b cap. Okay, let me put it up in that way. I'll write it in fact. So I'll say that vector b. So vector b was I cap plus j cap, which implies that vector b cap will become I cap plus j cap by root 2. Exactly. In the similar fashion, I can put for vector c also. right? So when I plug in these values of vector b cap and c cap, I get this lambda, or vector A is equal to lambda times of this quantity is b cap and this quantity is c cap. Is everyone okay with it? I'll write it up here because I'll be requiring calculation. So this is b cap and this is what my c cap. So vector c was I minus j plus 4k. So divide by its magnitude, which is 3 root 2. Sorted. Let me quickly do some adjustment. So after LCM, it is lambda by 3 root 2. And after adding and all, we get this 3i plus I, that is 4i. Then we get this 3j minus j, that is plus 2j and plus 4k. So we get 4i cap plus 2j cap plus 4k cap multiplied by lambda 3 root 2. Lambda by 3 root 2. So basically vector A is equal to lambda by 3 root 2, 4i cap plus 2j cap plus 4k cap. Okay. Now, but they have given me the vector A also in the another format, which is alpha I plus 2j plus bk. So I have vector A in two given styles. But vector A is only one vector, right? So it will have all the same components. I, j, k, all the components will be same. So if here my j component is 2. So here also my j component has to be what? 2 only, right? So what exactly I'll be making the how will I be equating it? So here, if I write it, the j cap component here will become lambda by 3 root 2 into 2. And that is given to me as 2. When I simplify it, what do I got? I got lambda is 3 root 2, right? So the moment when I compare the j cap coefficients, we got this 2 lambda by 3 root 2 equal to 2, which implies that lambda becomes equal to 3 root 2. Alright. Now the moment when I put lambda equal to 3 root 2, so vector A was nothing but lambda is 3 root 2 divided by 3 root 2 multiplied by 4i plus 2j plus 4k. This got cancelled. What is my vector A finally now? 4i cap plus 2j cap plus 4k cap. Guys, sorted everyone? So first of all, so key takeaway for this question was that the angle bisector between vector B and vector C is what? B cap plus C cap, direction wise. So in general, what will I assume the vector as? Lambda times of B cap plus C cap, right? Lambda is the general magnitude and B cap plus C cap is the direction in which that angle bisector vector will be moving, right? Okay. So we got vector A finally as 4i plus 2j plus 4k. Now guys, you have these four options. Please put them into everything and then see how does it figure it out. I quickly give you one hint. Just one hint. So when you will be plugging in, you will be getting the answer, but let me just quickly put it. All the coefficients of vector A are positive. 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4. Yes. If you take up the dot product of A with I cap, you get the positive quantity. And see what is happening. In every dot product, I'll be getting a positive quantity. A dot I cap, vector A dot j cap, vector A dot k cap. All these quantities are what? They are all greater than 0. This is also greater than 0. This is also greater than 0. This is also greater than 0. And what are you doing? In every such option, a value greater than 0 plus some another value greater than 0 equal to 0. Is there a possibility that the sum of two positive quantity will give me 0? Not at all. Right? None of the option will satisfy this. Now you must be wondering, how can it be? Yes, there was an error. So none of the option actually satisfy. So none of the option will actually fill the answer and might be a bonus or something for the people. So for this question, none of these is the answer. None of these is the answer. I hope the logic is clear, right? For the angle bisector direction, the general vector will be lambda times of B cap plus C cap. B cap plus C cap is the direction of the angle bisector of the angle between vector B and vector C. Sorted, and then we have figured it out. All right.